Here is the Gateway Solo 9100 laptop computer. It was released in mid-1998 with a price tag of $4,600. And for $4,600 you got quite a bit. You got a DVD drive. Well, a DVD drive by itself was impressive, but if that wasn't impressive enough, it was combined with a floppy drive in this one bay right here. I do not recall what size hard drive you got, but you got a battery as well that could be put into either this slot or this. The main issue that people had with the battery was that you had to put on a different faceplate in order to put it in the left-hand bay as opposed to the right one, because it was simply just a different size. But you could add double your battery life and add, I don't know, a couple 100 pounds it seems, because this laptop is quite heavy as it is. Unfortunately, I don't have the disk drive, the hard drive, or caddy, or either battery that would have come with this. This is very much a very stripped down unit. Unfortunately, it was going to be recycled. I saved it from the recycling, but it was already parted out before I got to it. It does work. It powers up, and I will be selling it as is on eBay, just because I don't need another Pentium 2 laptop. But we can see around the side that this was a very, very well-equipped laptop, featuring 2 USB ports. Most laptops from the time, if they had USB ports, which most of them had at least one, well, just that, they had just one, not 2 USB ports. And that was a major selling point of the laptop. Around the back, got a game port, IR, all the audio you could ever want. You have composite in and out, which is very interesting. A printer port, your proprietary docking station, video COM port, one PS2 keyboard or mouse port, and Kensington lock over there. I got very lucky with this one because well, I have to flip this over. The port cover is actually intact, and it still snaps into place right here and here. Apparently it snaps into place so well that I can't get it out now, so I gotta pry that up. There it goes. There goes one side. There. And that goes down and covers up the ports. A very nice little touch with this port cover is that if you wanted it completely out of the way, you can fold it back and, as you saw, lock it down, and this sits completely flush. If you didn't want your computer to sit flush to the ground, you could open up these little feet on the bottom, which are still intact, luckily. And they are spring-loaded. They're not just the cheap ones you have to bend up and then push back down. They're very nice feeling feet. There is no RAM door on this particular model, obviously because it's missing. I put a 32 meg stick of RAM that I just had laying around, and it seems to work just fine. I do believe, and I should have done research on this, but I believe there are 2 RAM slots, and one of these is for a video RAM, or an expansion to the video RAM. Unfortunately, I really don't know, but that's just speculation, because usually you don't see more than 2 RAM slots, and especially with one that is facing this direction as opposed to these, which are facing the other direction. So, I'm going to turn this thing on, and I'll open it up first, show you the inside. There's the glorious Pentium 2 sticker with MMX technology. Inside the palm rest, you've got 2 speakers right there and there. Got an adequate size touchpad. It's a very nice size touchpad. Pretty nice. 2 buttons for your left and right click, and a rather cheap feeling keyboard. It's not, the tactile feeling is good. It does feel very good, but the plastics themselves feel a little bit cheap. Just not something I'm used to seeing on these older laptops. It just feels a little bit cheaper. Got our indicator lights up there, power button right there. I believe that, yep, that is a built-in microphone. And that brings us to the 14.1 inch 1024 by 768 display. In great condition. This display seems to be very bright, very crisp. Unfortunately, I can't really demonstrate more than just the BIOS because I don't have a hard drive caddy for this, and it unfortunately takes something that's proprietary. And I don't have the floppy drive to boot off of a floppy disk because I don't have the proprietary disk/floppy drive. So, we're out of luck for booting this thing off of a floppy or into Windows. but we can at least power it on, like so, and see what it looks like on the BIOS side. If there are any details about this that I am missing, please feel free to leave them in the comments section. I might even add them to the video description. As I meant to say at the beginning of the video, I am no expert on these laptops. They were relevant when I was very young, and as a result, I just haven't had experience and don't know much about them. This is more just of a documentation to show that this thing even still exists, and that I'm going to be selling it and giving it to somebody who can actually make use of it. The reason why I'm not keeping it, because I don't want to buy a battery, a hard drive caddy, and a disk drive just to get this thing fully functional. Not really worth it, in my opinion. I was going to boot into the BIOS. It usually gives me an option to press F2, but maybe I missed it. Hitting that F2. F2, 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 F2. One thing I'm noticing right now, it's kind of interesting, on the F7 key you've got a video source button. Unfortunately, I don't have any devices ready right now that use composite video. Otherwise, I would gladly demonstrate how that works, and actually I think you have to have Windows installed, and that would make sense. So, that I won't be able to demonstrate, but as I said, this is more of a documentation that this thing even exists. Battery is of course dead. It reports that it has one floppy drive in it, but it definitely does not have a floppy drive. Oh, maybe it doesn't. Maybe I'm just seeing that. TV mode, you got that. Quiet boot. Got a whole bunch of options there. Video source is TV in. Can I change that to something else? Nope. Disable DVD, PCMCIA, TV in. So you must be able to choose in the BIOS what this button does. So if you want to, I don't know, make it play a DVD or something, you can change that in the BIOS. Got all our different settings in there, all the different settings in there, and that's about it. So unfortunately, can't really demonstrate Windows on this laptop or really anything. Obviously it doesn't boot into Windows, boot off of USB, because it predates that by quite some time. So, this has been a documentation video that this Gateway Solo 9100 still exists. There's one still working, although it is going to be sold as a working but needs parts unit. And there you have it. So, if you have any questions or want to leave some comments on this, feel free to do so. As I said, if there's information I need to add, I will add it in the video description. I thank you for watching, and hope you enjoyed.